What's going on, guys? Sounds here with another video. In this video, what I want to talk about is shooting and editing your own music video. As a beat maker, this pertains to you because to make a song, yeah, you do need a beat and you need vocals, unless you're doing an a cappella song. So as far as your beat goes, when it comes to music videos, your beat is actually going to be part of that video. So this does pertain to beat making. So I'm going to really go over my music video that I shot. I shot everything myself, I edited everything myself, as I do with all my videos. I'm just gonna go over what you need, some tips and tricks that you can use to do this, and you're gonna do this on a budget. I didn't have much equipment to do this with. Some of the things I used, or everything that I used, was my Canon T6i, which I'm recording with right now. I used a softbox light, which I only paid about $35 for, and the natural light from the window in my kitchen, and also a plastic bag. And that was all I used, plus my tripod. I almost forgot that. And that was pretty much it. That's all I used to shoot this video with. Now, as far as like editing programs go, I would suggest if you have a Mac, you can use iMovie, because I use iMovie for this video. I'm not saying that's the best program to use, because it's not. It's very basic, you're very limited with that program. But you can pull it off with it, as you will see in this video when I show it to you. But I would suggest going with the higher end program if you have the money for it, such as Adobe Premiere or Final Cut or Sony Vegas, something like that. But right now, you know, on a budget, I have iMovie, and that's what I had to use for this video. Now, if you're not looking to do this for your own music video, you can use some of these techniques for someone else's video if you're looking to get into videography, into that side of the game when it comes to doing music. Or if you have an artist that you made a beat for who's shooting a music video, and you're there on the shoot, on the scene, you can pick up some things, or you can look at these techniques and say, hey, why don't we try this if you're there during the shooting of the video, you know, just to make some suggestions, because you'll know some things just from watching this video. I also would suggest watching some videos from professionals who know what they're doing also, as far as videography goes and shooting music videos. So that way you kind of have a sense of what to look for when it comes to a music video being shot. Because of course the artist is shooting a video and it's their song, but that song is also half yours because you did make the beat on it. So you do want the video to be presented as good as it possibly can to represent your music. Oh yes, and before I forget, big shout out to Hot Hands Entertainment, who did send me a beat to my email. That's his beat that you hear playing in the background. So yeah, big thanks for that. To see this full video, I will leave a link in the description so you can take a look at that if you'd like to view it after watching this video. So let's get right into the video, and let's go over some scenes, and I'll show you some of the tricks that I did to get this music video to look the way that it did. Alright, so in this first scene, all I did was I had my son sit at the table and spin his fidget spinner real slow. He smiled and laughed. He kind of did his own thing here. I had him spin it slow, and I used a trick that I learned just taking the tripod with the camera on it. And as you're tipping it forward, you tilt the camera up as you're leaning the tripod forward. And this gives it a nice like floating effect, which is something I like. And I use this in quite a few scenes in this video, you know, with the window shot here where I was going through the door, and the other shots where I'm going over like the letters and bills, you know, just to give that effect. And even in the beginning, right before I start rapping, you'll see I did it with the grass shot. I got that grass shot right across the street from my house. This whole video was pretty much shot right in my house. Alright, then I did a couple shots where I just kind of panned it left to right, where I use like trees, just to get random shots. And that's one of the things you guys want to do, is just get, you know, random shots in there, just to have those extra shots to throw in there to go with the video. Now, another trick I used was with the plastic bag, is the scene with my kids sitting on the bed. I had all three of them just sit on the bed, and they were all watching something on a cell phone. And with the plastic bag, what I did was I just sat the camera on the bag, on the floor, and I slid the camera around the floor pretty slow, just to get that nice sliding effect, as if I had a slider, because I don't have a slider. So I kind of just thought of it, and I was like, I need something to slide and make it slide smooth, because it wouldn't slide across the floor smoothly. So I came up with that, and that actually came out really nice, and I'm really satisfied with that shot and how it came out. Another thing you want to remember is when you're editing these videos, especially with a music video, you don't want to have your shots, you don't want them to be too long. You want to like keep your cuts between 2 to 3, maybe even 4 seconds at the most. I think I had one that was almost 5 seconds, depending on what it is. But you don't want to have, like 10-second shots in there. You're just in one scene, unless it's that type of video. There are some videos where they use one shot, but they're moving the camera around a lot, where the person's like kind of walking through the neighborhood or something like that. They just did everything in one take just to have that effect. Then there was this shot where I wanted like that dark kind of stage-like look, and I didn't have a stage, so I had to come up with something. So what I did was I opened my closet door and I hung a black blanket over the clothes inside the closet. And then I took my cell phone and I turned on the flashlight to the cell phone. And that actually created a nice effect. And what I did to get that to give it that look was I turned on, well, not turned on, but I use the flashlight from the cell phone, and I'm actually holding it against the wall with my hand. Most people think I have some kind of special light that I did that with. And what I did was I went into my camera settings and I adjusted the ISO and the aperture. I darkened it pretty much, just so that all you would see is the light from the camera and the reflection of the light on my face. And it darkened out the back of that scene pretty well, so that way you couldn't see anything but what I wanted you to see. And that's another thing too, is when you're to get that cinematic look, you want to play around with the lighting. You're gonna have to position it, keep moving it around until you get it to look the way you look, and then you're gonna have to play around with the lighting in your camera, the lighting settings, meaning the ISOs and the aperture settings in your camera, just to get it to have that nice cinematic look. And a good camera to have is, like in this video, I'm using the Canon T6i. It actually has really clear video. It is a 24 megapixel camera. I would say anything below that, a 20 to 21 megapixel might be okay. But as far as cameras that I've owned over the years, this camera actually comes out the clearest, especially when you load it up to the internet, like on YouTube, because I've noticed over the years that every time I would upload a video to YouTube, it would distort my video. Once I uploaded it, just destroyed it. But with this camera, since I've gotten it, it's actually kept the quality pretty nicely every time I load it up to YouTube. So just a suggestion there. That camera will run you around, I think I got mine for about $550 on eBay or something like that. So they're about $500-600 for these cameras. And you do want to get the kit. If you can get a 18 by 135 lens, I would suggest getting one of those. Or if you want to get the standard kit, which comes with the 18 by 55 millimeter lens, those will work too. But I like the 135, the 18 by 135, because you can zoom in closer with that, and it is a better quality lens. All right, now moving on to this shot right here, where I'm actually rapping. I'm actually sitting at the kitchen table. Most of this video was shot in my kitchen, where you see the camera moving around. And that's one thing too, is you want to make sure that you have a lot of movement in your shots for the most part. Most of these shots I have movement. You don't want too many still shots. It kind of looks amateur and boring at the same time. When you don't have any kind of movement. So as I'm rapping, I'm actually holding onto the handle on my tripod, and as I'm moving around, I'm actually moving the camera with my hand. I just zoomed in on my face more so you couldn't see my arm moving the camera around, and that came out really nice the way I did that right there. And another thing too is when you're shooting a music video, you want to get as many shots as possible and just pick out the best ones. And that's what I did, because you don't want to just take a bunch of shots and use all of them, because a lot of times you're not going to use every shot, and you're definitely not going to use every part of every shot when you're doing this. You want to just take the best ones, because there were some shots that I got and I didn't like them. They looked, you know, a little cheesy, kind of amateur, so I left those out. I just kept the ones that looked really good, really professional, and it came out pretty nice. And like even, and let's go to this shot right here where I'm rapping. You can see how I use the window light, and you can see in my glasses, you can see my softbox light right in my glasses. You know, you see that white square right there, right in my glasses. It's reflecting off of me, but I was able to use the light from outside, the natural light. The sunlight is actually shining through the blinds, and I opened up the blinds just to have that nice look where the blinds are reflecting off of my face. And then I have the natural light, so my face is lit up more, because the camera will darken out your face more, and you'll have to use the artificial light from the camera, you know, using the ISOs and the aperture settings, which sometimes can create noise in your shot. So by using the softbox to light up the parts of my face that I want, you know, so you can see my face, but then also have the sunlight shining on my face so you can see my face, that was very effective when doing this. And of course, I just kept the camera moving. And then I have a shot where I use my softbox right here, where this shot right here, I wanted like a silhouette shot, and I'm actually sitting in my hallway, and I closed all the doors. There's a bathroom door and the bedroom door where the light was coming in, and I didn't want any of that light to be seen, so I closed those doors, and then I put the softbox at the end of the hallway right behind me, and I sat right in front of it. And then of course I used my my settings again, my lighting settings, my ISOs, my apertures, and I just turned them down until all you could see was my silhouette and the softbox behind me, and that had a really nice effect. Now this is actually a still shot, but what I did is when I went into iMovie, I used the Ken Burns crop effect to make it move, so it looked like it was moving around, and people thought I actually had somebody shooting right there and moving the camera, but it was actually just that shot that I used. I mean, that feature that I used in iMovie. And then I did this shot here on the train. I actually recorded this with my cell phone because I was actually on the way to work when I did it. So I didn't have my camera with me because I didn't want to bring it to work and have something happen to it or somebody steal it or something like that. So I actually had to throw this in there. I used my cell phone. It came out okay. You know, it wasn't bad. And also the thing that was hard about this shot is I couldn't play the music on my phone at the same time while I was recording, so I had to actually listen to it and then try to keep the tempo in my head and just kind of remember the verse and just, you know, lip sync the verse until and just get the shot. And then, you know, you can see I'm moving the phone around just to give it that, just to give it motion, you know. So that created a nice effect as well when doing this. And then at the end, I just used some snapshots. This one is my wife here when she was a little girl, and of course I used that the Ken Burns crop effect where you can make it move. And then here's a picture of me when I was a kid. Yeah, I know, I got a funny shape up, funny hairline there, but you know, I used that effect again just to make it, give it that effect to move. You know, that motion effect. And then at the end I just put this is the shot at the park where I panned it to the right, you know, with the ferry going by in the water. I gave it a nice effect, and then I just ended the video out pretty much with this, almost the same shots, but not really the same shots. It's the same scenes with the grass and the window, but actually I'm panning out this time. But that was the same effect that when I tilted the camera that I told you about in the beginning of the video. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. That's all I have for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. If you would like to get your music heard in any of my future videos, you can leave your song or your beat in my email at sounds08@gmail.com. If it is a song, please, I request no profanity if possible. If you do have some in there, try to edit it out. And also, if you have any suggestions for a future video that you have any questions on, or you would like to see me make a video about, feel free to leave a suggestion in the comment section below. And that's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.